G'day guys, Wereman here, welcome back to the workshop. We're still doing some rules discussion. We had a few requests, well, one specifically from Spartaner, but a couple of other people have mentioned different fire modes for weapons, so we're going through a few of those at the moment. Once again, at the wonderful young man named Adam's house.
Yay!
How are we, buddy?
I'm doing very well. You were telling me about all these different fire modes for weapons. I was very intrigued, so I'm glad you decided to come over here and record them so I could have a look. But,
I thought it'd be interesting to have an extra perspective on different rules discussions. So yeah, I think that's pretty good.
I'm totally loving those autocannons that we talked about in the last one. Oh man.
Yeah, well, you're probably going to like this then, because basically the same rules apply to machine guns.
That gets a bit of a bad rap, the old machine gun, doesn't it? I mean, it's great against infantry and doesn't generate heat and all that sort of stuff.
But you're generating locations, and that is sometimes a really, really good thing.
Yeah.
And 2 points of damage is 2 points of damage.
That's right. But when we did those videos on the machine gun arrays,
yeah,
that was exciting. That's a really interesting bit of tech.
Those are nasty. And getting the light and heavy ones as well. I mean, a bit more range or a bit more damage, and you got, some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, against infantry, it's just insanely good. But this is one that was actually specifically requested by Spartaner on one of my videos. So on the audio one, I think this was the first rules that we did. Burst MGs next. So Spartaner 251, this one's technically for you.
Yay.
All right, so like autocannons, machine guns can be fired against multiple targets or in rapid fire mode. And rapid fire mode, if you remember, was one of the ones that we did with autocannons, and so was the multiple target thing. Against multiple targets, machine guns use the rules for autocannons, which was that you're walking it between two that are in adjacent hexes.
Yep.
You're firing and you're doing half damage to each one, depending on whether you get the 2-hit roll or not.
Okay.
It's a +1 for the 2-hit roll, and it's the
worst target number, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. For the standard mode, walking across targets, you're using two hit numbers, so you have to roll both. If you fire it in rapid fire mode, you only have to fire one, and if you fire a cluster LBX one, then you only have to roll one. But you use the same rules for autocannons, If you target a conventional infantry unit, after determining the number of troopers eliminated, which is on, there's a table on 217 in Total War.
Yep, which I've got here in front of us.
Yep, so burst fire weapon damage. So you determine your burst fire weapon damage.
Yep.
After determining the number of troopers eliminated, divide the value in half, round down to a minimum of 1.
Okay.
So I think for a machine gun, you're rolling...
It's 2d6
standard machine gun. So you'd roll that, and then you divide it by 2.
Yep.
But you're also, assuming you're firing at 2 different infantry units, you're also firing at another one, which means that you're rolling 2d6 and dividing by 2. So you can either fire at 1 and give them the full 2d6,
right,
or you can accept that +1 2-hit modifier, fire at both of them, and get half damage.
Well, that essentially drops it to a light machine gun against each of them.
Yeah, because
they're
still
pretty good.
Yeah.
And if they're not in cover, you're doubling that damage.
Yeah.
So one weapon attacking 2 separate targets that are right next to one another. Oh yeah, if they're not in cover,
not bad.
that can be a lot.
Yeah.
So what's a standard jump troops like 21 jump? I don't know if there was a joke in there that they said
21 jump. Yeah,
21
I think there probably was a joke there.
But it doesn't matter, 21 if they're not, if you get the maximum 6, there's 12 dudes.
Mm. But even against the standard ones, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, they've got 28 in a standard platoon, haven't they?
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, like you say, if you manage to roll 2 sixes, you'll do 6 damage to one of them and 6 damage to the other one. So you're dropping them down by a reasonable amount.
Yeah.
It's not nothing. The rapid fire mode is slightly different to autocannons. So the machine gun can be modified to fire at a much higher rate than normal, chewing up huge amounts of ammunition, but significantly increasing the weapon's damage potential. So you have to mark your machine guns to be used in rapid fire mode on the record sheet at the beginning of the game. So they're stuck in rapid fire mode. And the weapons have to be rapid fire mode for the entire game. Each time the weapon is rapid fired, roll 1d6 to determine the heat generated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you're not... normally with machine guns, you're not really generating any heat, are you?
No, none.
You've got a 0 for heat generation. But for these, you roll a 1d6 every time you fire it, and that's how much heat you're generating. It also becomes the damage inflicted by the weapon if it hits. Okay? So it's possible for a burst to inflict only 1 point of damage. So this burst does 1d6 points of heat to the unit firing it, but it does 1d6, that same d6 roll in damage to the thing that you're shooting at. So if you're shooting at a mech with a mech, you've got your machine gun, it's stuck in rapid fire mode, you make your 2-hit roll, and you hit, you roll 1d6, and you take that much in heat, and the enemy takes that much in damage. So you could roll a 6 on a single machine gun and get 6 points of damage, which is more than a medium laser. It would do 6 heat to you, but it's doing 6 damage to the enemy.
You're always getting excited about the machine gun arrays, and now you just do that.
So each rapid fire burst uses a number of rounds equal to the damage it inflicted times 3.
3, okay.
So up to a max of 18 from your 200 for a ton.
Most people are trying to get through their 1 ton of ammo
it's
as
hard.
quickly as possible.
It is hard to use damage. So if you are one of those people who regularly dumps machine gun ammo because they just don't want to do that, then maybe rapid fire is for you.
I think so.
Rapid fire machine guns do not inflict increased damage on conventional infantry. And conventional infantry can't use rapid fire mode, so they can't set their machine guns to rapid fire. Okay, so you can't have conventional infantry machine guns firing in rapid fire mode, which would be very, very cool, but you can't do it.
It would look like those, was it like Looney Tunes characters with the guns going? It would just be insane.
Oh dear. Battle Armor can use this rule and roll for each active trooper firing a machine gun separately. So each separate trooper with a machine gun rolls their d6 separately.
But they don't have the heat issue.
They don't have a heat issue. Battle Armor don't track heat, so you don't need to worry about that.
Wow.
So yeah, Battle Armor with a machine gun on there, it's pretty deadly. I mean, up to 6, and what is it, 4 per Battle Armor squad usually, or 5?
There's 5 for say clan. Well, I was thinking clan, but in a sphere, yeah.
In a sphere, it's 4, right?
4 usually.
So if you've got 4 Battle Armor guys with a machine gun each, that's 4d6 worth of damage, even to a mech or a vehicle, and it's in 4 different locations.
Wow.
So
because they don't track the ammo for the guns for the infantry.
For Battle Armor,
For Battle Armor, they've just got it. It's assumed that they've got enough. So to get around that heat, what do you put them on, Taryn? You put them on tanks.
Yes.
Can you imagine a hovercraft with high speed that can close in, get in the rear, and just start unloading with those? I mean, you only have to do this. So light and heavy machine guns are slightly different. So for light machine guns, damage and heat is 1d6 minus 1 to a minimum of 1. And for heavy machine guns, it's 1d6 plus 1. Okay? You can't fire machine gun arrays in rapid fire mode. I know you were thinking about it. So you have to either deactivate the array or like have the array in some way not being active in order for it to be used in rapid fire mode. But like I was thinking just then, imagine that hovercraft that you're talking about with like as many heavy machine guns as you can put on it. Oh yeah.
And he runs right round to the back, gets 2 hexes away or 1 hex away, and goes, okay, 1d6 plus 1. How many times again?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's 50 shots a ton, I think, for the heavy. I think that's how it works from memory. So you'd probably want to invest a little bit into that.
But I mean,
wow.
That's still, it's 50 shots and 6 plus 1. So you've got 7 times 3 is 21. So you'd use a lot of ammunition with these things.
Yeah, but that is a lot of potential damage, eh?
Ammo per ton for a heavy machine gun is 100.
100, is it?
Yep.
I thought it was...
So it'll be 50 per half ton, because you should still be able to take them in half-ton units.
When I was using Solaris Skunk Works, it said 50.
Okay.
They may have changed it. Like this, when was this? These are the Total Warfare books that we have in the videos, and this one was printed when? It's like the old cover. But these are going back a little bit.
I thought they printed to be there.
2006, 2007, I think it says.
There you go.
Something like that. Yeah, it's going back. Look, they've made... It doesn't matter. The fact is,
it can still
heavy machine guns,
mess you up.
Damage.
I mean, the heavy machine gun does 3 damage by itself anyway.
Yeah.
But if you take a light machine gun, you're getting your 200 rounds per ton. Normally, you'd only be doing
1d6.
Yeah, so 1 point of damage for a light machine gun, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, 1d6 against other things, but yeah, 1.
Yeah, so it's normally only doing 1, but you're doubling the range.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, so you're going out 5 and 6 instead of a 3. Right, so like you're saying, a hovercraft with a bunch of light machine guns on it, they're all rolling 1d6 minus 1, but the minimum is 1. So the minimum is the damage you're doing anyway.
Right.
And you're not worried about the heat.
No.
So I reckon that would be a formidable opponent.
Wow.
If you took a Savannah Master or something like that, just a little bit bigger than that, and put as many machine guns, light machine guns on it as you could fit, you'd probably get maybe 2 or 3. But you won't get much in the way of ammo. But I mean, something slightly bigger than that, put a few machine guns on there, stick them in rapid fire mode, and you've got a nasty little surprise for anybody who is using something without too much backup.
Well, those locusts that have like the machine guns, they had machine guns in the arms or something, and an LRM5 or a medium laser or something.
But I mean, the standard locust is the machine gun in the center torso and the 2 the medium laser in the center torso and the 2 machine guns in the arms. That's the bog standard locust.
Yeah.
You just say at the beginning of the game, because I'm pretty sure you get a ton of ammo with those machine guns.
You do, yeah.
For the locust.
It's quite a lot.
All you have to do is at the beginning of your game say those 2 machine guns are in rapid fire mode, and you're doing 1d6 damage instead of 2.
Yeah. So look, you're going to have heat issues because it's a mech, but
the locust isn't that bad on heat management. I mean, you've got your standard 10 heat sinks, so 5 for medium laser, and then like say 2 for running.
Yeah,
that's 7. So you've got 3 points of heat that you can dissipate after that. And then whatever these D6 rolls over 3 is what goes on your thing. But yeah, I mean, if you're rolling a D6 each time, I'd be firing the 2 machine guns and just forgetting about the
medium laser. Yeah, you would. Yeah,
forget the medium laser. But I mean, it's another way as well to get through that ammo. I mean, you don't want that ammo taking a hit, so you just go, okay, well, I'm going to fire the 2 machine guns in rapid fire mode as often as I possibly can. I'll ignore my medium laser until I'm out of ammo. It's times 3. So if you keep rolling 6s, which I'm sure you would, you'd be
far
getting
too
rid
much
of
credit, but yeah, okay.
You'd be getting rid of 18 rounds each time.
Yeah, but still,
you got to get through 200, so you've got quite a while being able to do those. And if you manage your heat reasonably well, then there's no reason you can't just keep doing that. It's insane. I really, really like it. I really like it. That is one that I would actually think about doing. Like rapid fire with the autocannons was bad because there was all that problem with the like a 2 makes it explode and a 3 and a 4 is a jam.
Yeah, true.
Right, for the rapid fire. There's no mention of jamming. It says it's... Yeah, so when rapid firing, use the optional rule below.
Which is heat, essentially.
Which is just the D6 damage and heat, and that's it. So it doesn't mention jams, it doesn't mention overloads, it doesn't mention any of that. It just says you can fire it faster, but you chew through your ammo and you generate a lot more heat. That's it.
That's such a win for machine gun infantry. You know, your battle armor. That's incredible. That's so much more damage.
They can do a lot more damage. And like you say, light vehicles with space and weight issues can just put a bunch of machine guns on there and switch them all to rapid fire and just drive in and start hurting things.
Yeah.
I reckon that's very cool.
Wow.
I like that one. Well picked, partner.
Yeah.
Well done, mate.
And vehicles as well are going to struggle with that if they get shot with those. Can you imagine like a single squad or whatever of the 4 infantry in the side and they just unload in that?
You're taking up to 1d6 damage, plus you've got a location for each one of those 4. So
you'd be ripping those tracks off.
Yeah.
You'd be just, wow.
Even your Zhukovs that you're so proud of would have trouble with that.
I think so, yeah.
Dear.
Apologies for the guard dog. He's the neighbours are having a little bit of a party.
He can't let them just get on with it. He's got to have a word. But that's machine guns anyway. So I mean, there's a bunch more different fire modes that we can go through, but it was autocannons first because they were connected, and then machine guns next because they were specifically requested, and the rest are going to be because I quite like them.
Yeah, that works.
Oh, good. All right. Well, thanks for having me again, buddy.
Yeah,
Workshop's been good.
Thank you for, like I said, thank you for doing it here. That's really good. I really like that. That's such a cool little rule.
They're kind of fun, and a lot of optional rules to go. I mean, there's heaps of stuff. And if you have one that you specifically want to see, chuck it in a comment, and hopefully we'll get to it at some point. And we've got a bunch more to go through, so, I mean, we'll get to all of them eventually, maybe. But I don't know how many times I can do this. Dear. It's all good, though. All right, that is it for this one. You guys stay groovy, and we'll see you in the next one.